Welcome to Tao of Cooking. I'm Chef Duran. Today we're making cream of potato leek soup. We're going to start with some russet potatoes. So we want to wash these off good. They're grown in dirt. Want to rub them real good as you're running water over them. Make sure you get any stuck dirt off of there. And anything we don't like after we get done washing, we can just cut right off. So I've got a bucket of cold water here, and so as I peel my potatoes, I'm going to throw them in the water so they don't oxidize, turn brown. Make sure your hand's not in the way when you're peeling. So we're going to put our fingers on both sides. We're going to cut straight down and then just turn it so that your hand is not in the way when you're peeling. You don't want to peel your finger. At the end, turn it the other way. And there we are. Stick it in our water, like that. Now I'm going to take this water, I'm going to dump it out. And then I'm going to take all my potatoes out, put them on the cutting board, and I'm going to fill this back up with water. As I chop my potatoes, I'm going to throw them back in the water again so they don't oxidize while I'm dicing all my potatoes. So I got my cold water here that I'm going to throw the potatoes back into once they're cut up so they don't oxidize. So what I'm going to do, again, like we did in Shop and Chop for other vegetables, I'm just going to cut this in slices first. Even slices. And then I'm going to cut it this direction. Now I'm going to cut it this direction. So we have ourselves a nice medium dice. And we're just going to take that, put it in our water right away so we don't get it oxidized. Just make sure that it's covered with water. Leeks are a large green onion, a little bit different from the other green onion. Cut it off because it's really tough about here. And you always got to wash leeks really good because they always get a lot of dirt and sand in them. First thing I'm going to do is just cut off the top. Like that. Out there. Get rid of these dark, tough leaves. Then we're going to cut off the root part right here. Cut off that root again. And this one too. Clean that off. And we're going to cut this in half. going to cut it not all the way down. We're going to leave that root a little bit. We're going to cut it all the way in half, but leave it attached right here. All the way in half, leave it attached. Same thing, cut this root off. A little bit left too much. Cut it in half. And then I'm going to go all the way down. And actually I should have done this before, but I'm just going to get rid of any of these leaves that aren't any good. So this outer layer is definitely not happening. Okay, now I'm going to take a container, like a tall, thin container, and I want to fill this up with some water. So I've got this filled with cold water, and you could do this in your sink too, but you'd have to fill up your sink completely, so you really want a little bit of depth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, I'm going to hold on to this end here, I'm going to swish it around in here, try and get the sand out of here. I'm going to open up these leaves, but you're still holding on to this here so it doesn't fall apart on you. Through there, it's looking pretty good. And that's great. So we want to do all of these like that. And the sand should fall right out. And the dirt. Couple at a time even. Do that, that's good, that's good. And if it falls apart, it's alright, just hold on to it. Switch it around in there. Great. I can see that I can see dirt at the bottom here. The dirt is floating, has gone to the bottom. Sand will sink, and just take your stuff off the top. Just dump that out. Okay, so now I've got my clean leeks. Just gonna look through this again, see if there's any bad leaves that I left on there. Make sure your cutting board's nice and clean. And I'm putting all the white to the left side. So you just cut straight down. I'm putting all the root side to the left here, so I can just cut straight down the right side. There we go, got that. And I can just hold on to this. If this is too much for you, you can just do smaller batches at a time. So I'm just holding on, and I'm just gonna slice straight down. I want to make sure when I get to the root end that I don't cut that, and I leave that, because it'll just be a round piece left over when all these nice layers. So again, I'm just gonna get down to that root end. And you know, after I washed it, I actually could have cut that root end off, because it was just there to hold this together while I washed it. So could have really just cut that off before I started chopping it. That's your leeks. So we're going to continue with our potato leek soup. I've got about a gallon of water here in our pot. Put it on high, bring this to a boil. We have our potatoes here in water. And we kept it covered in water so it doesn't oxidize. And then we're just going to drain off the water and throw our potatoes in our boiling water. I'm going to add some salt to this, probably about 1.5 tablespoons. All right, our water's boiling, and I'm only gonna put about half of these potatoes in because we really don't need this many. Yeah, need all this for the soup. Leek is a lot more durable kind of green onion, so I'm just gonna throw these leeks right in with our potatoes. And I'm gonna throw in some black pepper as well, right about a teaspoon of black pepper, maybe a little more. Black pepper goes great with potatoes, you know? So we've come up to a boil here. Just gonna give us a little stir. Get everything mixed in there. And I'm just gonna turn this down to a simmer. Let this go for about 15 minutes, and let's come check on it after that. So it's been cooking for a while. We're just gonna check and make sure how the potatoes are. So if these potatoes are too soft when we thicken it, we're just gonna make mashed potatoes. So right now it's a little bit firm, but they're still tender enough that they're pretty much fully cooked. And I'm gonna thicken this right now. So we're gonna use cornstarch for this, and what we're gonna do with this, we're gonna put water in our cornstarch, cold water. So we're using a whole cup of cornstarch to this gallon. Breaking it up. More lumps. Take our ladle, put some hot liquid into the cold, temper it, mix that up, and then pour that back in. Mix that right away, get that going. So one thing you'll notice about cornstarch is that it's not opaque like a roux is. It's kind of more translucent and it's shinier, but definitely more translucent. So the fact that we're going to put cream in this will definitely make it more the way I like to see potato leek soup. Now, something else we're going to do actually too is I found a piece of Asiago in my fridge, so I decided I'm going to make this potato leek cheese soup with this Asiago. So I think that'll be a delicious addition, and to show you how to add cheese to a soup. Let that cook a little while longer. Let it finish thickening. Look how nice that is, all those potatoes. See how the edges are rounding off of that? So I'm just going to adjust our salt here. Probably another tablespoon in there. Alright, I'm just going to take this and move it off the heat here. Turn the burner off. I've got our Asiago cheese here. I'm just going to grate this. So I'm pushing down, not getting my fingers in the way, and pushing with the base of my palm right here to press against the grater. Don't ever want to get your fingers in the way. Always push down with your palm, with the base of your palm. Whenever you add cheese to a sauce or a soup, you want to take it off the heat because it'll actually burn on the bottom. So you just add the cheese at the very end. So this soup is done. I'm just going to dump the cheese in. It's off the burner. You want to make sure to mix it right in right away so it doesn't clump up. That's why we grated it, so that it'll melt easily in our soup. Here we are. Potato leek soup with Asiago cheese.